and I'm the CEO and co-founder of UserGems. Today, I'm going to talk about how to choose an AI outbound agent that works. First, I'm going to talk through a framework that we have as customers to identify which AI solution works best for your needs. And then I'm going to show a little bit of how UserGems uses that framework ourselves to generate the product that helps people in their AI outbound motion. We work with customers of all sizes, from Gong, CrowdStrike, to even HubSpot themselves are a customer. So I'm going to walk you through today how we think about AI in sales. Pretty much every company I talk to, I hear the same thing. I hear we need to 2x our goals, but with the same headcount. Or same goals, less headcount. But then we also have a mandate to use AI, because that's actually how we achieve these higher goals with the same headcount. And we know that pretty much every organization is currently trying out AI solutions in pretty much every department, in their sales, in their engineering, and so on. And yet, we're still receiving emails like this. That's really an email I received. And I do speak German. And Oktoberfest is many things, but it's not a good transition to buy my product. And when we think about AI in sales, we always think messaging. But actually what comes before it is way more important. It's about identifying in the first place which companies, which people we should be targeting. We can write the very best messaging. If it goes to the wrong person, it won't be successful. Because even despite the AI doesn't change the fundamentals of sales, which is I need to identify people that have the pain point that my product can solve. And if I can't do that, using AI, then I can also generate good messaging that helps me convert those people. And so the framework we've been using is threefold. First, it's about data quality. Evaluate that you get the right people. Then it's about evaluating the messaging generated by the data. And then lastly, and that's actually a surprisingly important point, it's about team adoption. I'll talk more about all three of them. When it comes to data quality, we all know garbage in means garbage out. What's interesting here is that this is actually now more important than before. We already knew we want to target and we want to reach out to the right people, to the right persona, to people that are still there. Like, we want to make sure we're not reaching out to people that left 3 years ago. But now, if we're adding AI into the mix, we're also adding hallucination into the mix. And we're also adding already a general sentiment of people that is like, AI can make mistakes. So we need to make sure that we are not feeding bad information into AI, because it means we're losing the trust if we're using the solution. And data here means we want to target the right companies, the right ICP, and the right people, the right persona. But that's not enough. Because what we try to identify is who has the pain point that I'm solving. And the best way to do this is through buying signals. And there are many of them. There are signals in your own CRM, which means you can look into your closed loss data. Oftentimes you get information like a person evaluated 6 months ago and was looking for a new budget. Or you can have signals on the person level, like past champions, people that bought your product, moved to a new organization, or website visits. Or you have signals on the account level, like someone is a customer competitor, someone received funding, someone is hiring for a very specific role. There's a lot of information that can help me identify, is this company a good target for me? And if I have the right data and the right signals, then it's about running the right campaigns. we always tell companies to work backwards from the opportunities. What was the trigger point that created this opportunity? Figure out which signals work for you, and then try to use AI to scale those signals. We have analyzed millions of opportunities to figure out what actually converts, what is actually the trigger point that converts into an opportunity. The top 3 that we found are past champions at new companies. So people that already bought your product that moved to a new organization. They very likely are at a similar company and in a similar role, which means they have the same pain points and they're trying to solve them again. Second one, revive closed lost. These are the opportunities that were closed maybe a year ago. These companies already had a pain point, but maybe budget wasn't right. Maybe they were looking to hire for the right person, and now is the right time. We have found that you need on average 3 to 4 opportunities until you have a closed one. So continuously tracking and reaching out to your closed lost is number 2. And the third one is website visits of individuals. It's about very specific pages that they are visiting. If they go to a specific product page or help page or pricing page, that's a very good trigger point for my sales team to go after the person and maybe the company. And if we've got the data and the signals, then we should start thinking about the messaging we're generating. And the messaging shouldn't be focused on the individual or, God forbid, like the university they went to, which is often emails we're still getting, but rather it should take all the information we have about the person and about the company. This is the CRM information, the emails, the conversations we had with them, but also the signals we identify. We should take all of this information to generate the messaging, the call scripts, the LinkedIn outreach. And when we look at messaging generation, there are 2 very different systems that we've seen across vendors. One is where one data point or one signal generates one email. The benefit of this is that it's much easier to manage. It's more an if-then. But we have found that it's much more valuable if I take the full context, everything that I know about a person, and generate the whole sequence, all the steps along the sequence. And I sprinkle in data, signal, information across the sequence where one email has several data points, where in my follow-up messages, I refer back to the previous message. What works really well for us, closed lost, where in the first message, we talk about the pain points we heard. In the second message, we talk about the person we talked to so that we can connect them within the organization. The really good thing about AI is that this is actually something where AI is really good at. I can give AI a whole lot of information and it can distill the most important parts and generate the messaging. It's actually one of the things where it's better than a human. And then when we look at messaging, what's also important is it's a little bit like an SDR. I need to train the SDR, I need to do trial and error, and it's the same as messaging. Leaders often expect plug-and-play solutions, but that's not how it works. But rather, we generate the messaging, and then we fine-tune. We update the prompt until we arrive at a messaging that works. And then, don't overthink it, send it out, get feedback from the market, and iterate. And then the last point. We just released a State of AI Adoption report. It's on usergems.com, where we interviewed hundreds of sales and marketing leaders on their AI adoption. And the one thing that stops most companies in their adoption is actually human. It's actually their team being worried about their own job. It's a team being worried that they actually train their replacement. So what you need to do is, in order to really get your team to adopt an AI initiative, is to work with them. Work with them on the success criteria that you need, and then work with them on how to implement and use the product. Because if done right, the goal is actually to make each team member more successful. And in our own scenario, 9 months ago, we started using AI in our sales process. Back then, we were generating 9 opportunities per month per seller. Because people were still focused a lot on manual tasks, like build, prioritize, draft sequences. We changed to an AI-assisted system, and now we're generating 20 opportunities per month per seller. And what this leads to is that we've actually doubled our team of sellers. If they're more productive, I want more of them, not fewer. And that's how AI will be adopted in the organization if you're doing it with them. And now I want to show you a little bit about how UserGems works. We believe that between the CRM, the HubSpot, the Salesforce, that's the system of record, and the outreach, the sales of the Gong Engage, which is the system of action, you need a revenue command center that takes all of the information that you have, because we have a lot of information in our sales, in our HubSpot, in our deals, in the data and signal that are out there. You need a system that takes all of this information and turns it into actionable next steps. And I'm going to show you how we are doing that. In order for UserGems to get started, we first need to understand who your buyers are. We want to understand which companies are you targeting, which buyers are you targeting. So the first thing we do is we connect with your CRM, we understand who are your buyers, what are the companies that are currently your customers, what are the buyers, what is their persona. We try to identify all the signals we can find about your customers so we better understand who they are. And then we use this to generate a similarity score. We look into about 600 different attributes of which departments do your customers have, what's their size, which funding did they receive, who are they hiring for, but also tech stack. That gives us an idea of what does your customer look like. And then we compare it to the 4 million companies in our system. And if we do this, we can then generate a list, a score that tells you how similar is a company to your customer. The higher the score, the more you should want to target that company. And we also do the same with the individuals within a company. We generate a full list of everyone that works at these target companies, and then compare it to your buyers and to your persona to tell you within your target accounts which are the people you should be reaching out to. And once we've generated this as the foundation, then that's where the real work begins. That's where we want to create AI campaigns. And here we're coming back, and I hope the internet works, where UserGems has prepared the top campaigns that we've identified. They're already pre-prepared for you with filters, with actions, but you can also generate your own. For example, if you want to target past champions and new companies, we have campaigns for you. We have the companies prepared, we have the people prepared. If you want to revive closed lost by targeting new decision maker, we've got it prepared. So if I select this one here, we are automatically generating an audience of companies and people that's always refreshing. And so this audience that automatically detected each of these companies has a previous closed lost. It also automatically detected all the other signals that apply to these companies. So I know that ThoughtSpot, I have past champions, I had a website visitor, they're currently hiring for these roles, and they are a competitor to one of my customers. All of this information was automatically created. And the same is true for the people within these companies. So we've identified the right companies. Now we want to identify the people where, once again, we're applying the signals. Like Katie is a past closed one-up contact. She previously worked at Alteryx, but is now at ThoughtSpot. If I want to reach out to Katie right now, I would send all of this information to our GemE, to our AI system. And GemE is generating the messaging based on the signals it identified. And in this case, because Katie is a past closed one-up contact, she purchased UserGems before already, the first message is focused on her time at Alteryx. Thanks for helping bring UserGems to Alteryx. At ThoughtSpot, are you running into the same issues? Issues needing more pipeline, higher conversion. But in the second email, it now uses other signals. It uses information, hey, it identified ThoughtSpot is a competitor of Domo. Domo is a customer, so I mentioned Domo. It also mentions John, who was the opportunity contact that last evaluated UserGems. So in order to connect John with Katie, it mentions it in the email. It uses all of this information to automatically generate the emails. But we don't want sellers to go in here and have to generate and click, but rather we want sellers to work out of the tools they're already used to. So what this means is that in this workflow, this workflow checks every day, do I have people that match my audience? If yes, generate them in my CRM, wait 30 minutes for routing, generate the messaging, and then add them directly into a specific cadence. And that could be HubSpot, Outreach, or SalesLoft. And for your seller, they don't have to know UserGems. They go into their tools, like here I'm showing Outreach. They go into their tools. Katie shows up as a task for them. When they're starting their task, the message is already prepared for them, the message that AI generated based on the signals. And I, as a seller, through UserGems, also immediately see all the signals that apply to Katie and to ThoughtSpot. So if I want to change some parts of this messaging, I can just go in here, change anything based on the information we're providing here. If I'm happy with the result, I hit send, go to my next task. We have companies execute these both on a copilot, like you see here, but also on an autopilot, where messages are being generated and then sent out automatically. For me as an admin, I'm setting up these plays, these campaigns. Any of these campaigns for my sellers, it gets executed automatically or put in front of them. And all I can do is generate new campaigns and then look at the reporting, what were the opportunities generated. That's the full system we use to go from 9 opportunities to 20. And with that, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please leave me afterwards or join us tomorrow. We have a conference tomorrow, Humans of Go-to-Market, where we celebrate the humans despite the AI. Thank you.